So let's have a look at the final of the Micromax, because it's Canadian on pole position, Matthew Latifi. His mechanic is an Englishman, Steve Chapman. The front row shared with the American driver, Nicholas Dorlando. Row 2, Maxwell Waithman, his grandfather in UK tuned in. Tyler Gonzalez of America sharing row 2 with Maxwell. Row 3, Dylan Tavella, the national champion, and Derek Carmenate. Row 4, Harry Coulton, someone else with relatives in the United Kingdom tuned in. He shares row 4 with Diego Larocque. Row 5, Xavier Harris of Canada, Giovanni Bramonte of the United States. Row 6, Jordan Hefner of the USA, William Chaillet of Canada. Row 7, Thomas Nepfer and Marco Kachik are an all-Canadian row 7. Jeremy Fairburn and the girl Hannah Greenmeyer, sorry Hannah, row 8. Justin White and Jordan Novoto, row 9. And Jacob Yesnick and Ethan Arndt complete the top 20 on row 10. Joshua Cunha and Ryan Desal, an all-Canadian row 11. Patrick Woods-Toth and Noel Leon, row 12. Kai Palomino and Peyton Durrant, row 13. Jesse James Mitchell and Alexandra Lagar, row 14. Row 15, Gino Sandoval and Jeremy Talon. Row 16, Paulie Massimino and Eloy Lopez. Row 17, Dustin Salaveria and Sebastian Davis, and the grid completed by Aidan Harrington. This will be a 10-lap Micromax final for these 8 and 9-year-old youngsters. Matthew Latifi of Canada is on pole position and joined on the front row by Nicholas Dorlando. Matthew Latifi is in cart number 18. Nicholas Dorlando is in cart 28. Okay, here we go. Matthew Latifi on the left, Nicholas Dorlando on the right, and it's not a clean start. It is not a clean start. We are not racing. We are not racing. Well, I have some bad news, which is that Mexican driver Noel Leon looks to be either a non-starter or will start from pit lane. Noel Leon looking to be a non-starter. Noel Leon of Mexico should have started on row 12, looks to be a non-starter. Oh, bad luck, Noel, that is unfortunate. In a big event like this, you'd have loved it so much. All of these youngsters would. Must be bitterly disappointed.
As these drivers work their way around here. Here will be Xavier Harris and Giovanni Bramonte.
Well, we try again as they come into view. On the left of your screen will be poleman Matthew Latifi. On the right of your screen, Nicholas Dorlando. And Nick Dorlando gets a quicker start than Matthew Latifi, but Matthew Latifi will have the turn to his advantage and makes a nice smooth turn to come away in the lead from Maxwell Waithman. That looks like Nick Dorlando, I think, in third place, although I can't totally be sure. There was a change just there, but immediately Matthew Latifi under challenge from Maxwell Waithman, and coming and splitting them is one of the drivers who I didn't see. That may have been Dylan Tavella. But I do believe that Matthew Latifi has retained his lead from pole position, very small of stature. I did mention early on he has an English mechanic, a very good friend of mine from Liverpool, from Merseyside, or Merseyside, as we sometimes say up there, which is Steve Chapman. Matthew Latifi, younger brother, of course, of Nicholas Latifi. Nicholas Latifi already carving out a good career in cars, but hey, that's not what's relevant now. What's relevant now is that Matthew Latifi, coming round to complete the opening lap, holds that narrow advantage. Maxwell Waithman has made a good start. His granddad in England will be happy with that. And here's this a bid for the lead change. It is Nicholas Delando, kart number 28. Nicholas Delando taking the lead. Nicholas Delando now your race leader. Matthew Latifi is kart number 18. Max Waithman kart 40. Dylan Tavella in 4th place. Harry Colton completing the top 5. Well, I'm reluctant to take my eyes off that top 5, but I'm going to do so to read the balance of the top 10. In 6th place is Tyler Gonzalez. 7th is Derek Carmenate. Giovanni Bramonte 8th as the fly past aircraft goes by again on its way back. Justin White in 9th place and Jordan Hefner completing the top 10. 34 drivers making the start. Sadly, Noel Leon of Mexico not able to do so. Well, this is coming round towards the end of the second lap in a 10-lap Micromax final. Nick Delando in kart 28 led Matthew Latifi immediately after the end of that opening lap. Nick Delando in front of Maxwell Waithman now, because Max Waithman has got in front of the diminutive Matthew Latifi. Maxi Waithman looking to try to put pressure, and Matthew Latifi's got to work hard here. He doesn't want those front two to get away from him. They're 3/4 of a kart length in front of him, and Max Waithman getting a little bit stronger, it would seem. Nicholas Delando continues to lead. Max Waithman still second. Matthew Latifi third. The USA champion Dylan Tavella 4th. Harry Coulton completing the top 5. Now, the front 3 have pulled away a little bit. Then there's a little bit of a gap to the next. Well, it doesn't look like a gap now, does it? It's all been closed up, but that gap was there when I started talking, but that has closed up significantly. So it's a front-running 5 now. And going from 5th to 4th, I think, is Harry Coulton. The front 2 remain as they were, which is Nicholas Delando and Maxwell Waithman, but Matthew Latifi looks over his left shoulder in 3rd place, getting himself a little bit adrift in kart 18. When I say adrift, I mean adrift of the front 2 is also clear of Dylan Tavella in 4th place. It wasn't Harry Coulton moving up, it was Dylan Tavella, wasn't it? Maxwell Waithman in 2nd place, putting the pressure on Nick Delando. Let's stay with those front guys. That front-running 5 is now a front-running 4, but the real close battle is just 1 and 2. Now remember the pre-final this morning, Matthew Latifi won that on the last turn virtually, and in Minimax the pre-final was won on the last turn. So you want to get yourself in a good position, but it's where you are with about 2 or 3 turns remaining on the 10th and final lap that becomes crucial. The race leaders are on this long back straight here at the NOLA Motorsports Centre. Nicholas Delando leading Max Waithman, and Matthew Latifi has closed up on them. Well, just as I spoke, he dropped about half a kart length, but he has closed up significantly on where he was on the previous lap, and a potential bid for the lead, and Max Waithman going into the lead. Max Waithman in kart 40 takes the lead, and Matthew Latifi goes through with him into 2nd place, and Nick Delando, the race leader 20 seconds ago, now finds himself in 3rd place. This is lap 5 of a 10-lap final for the Micromax youngsters, the boys and the girl. Right at the back, that's Ryan Desal, who we saw going through screen. Derek Carmenate running 7th, you see there, Giovanni Bramonte 9th. Peter Woods-Toth getting up into 12th place, and that's a good drive because he was a fair way further back. He started in 23rd position. Sorry, Patrick Woods-Toth getting himself up into, about 13th place, wasn't it? 12th, in fact. William Chaillet back in 18th place, 5 seconds off the pace. And behind them, well, Hannah Greenemeyer, who I had been heralding as one of the girls here, outside of the top 20 at the moment. We're on lap 6. And Nicola Delando has gone past Matthew Latifi. So Nick Dorlando goes up into second place and is chasing now Maxwell Waithman. Maxwell Waithman in the white helmet. So that's a fairly clear piece of identification for those of you watching online, and for me standing here partially looking out of the window, partially looking at my screen. Those of you looking tuned in online, you're getting a brighter picture than myself. I'm sort of balancing the picture I see on my monitor with what I'm seeing out of the window, trying to get the best of both worlds, and that way trying to bring you the best of the news. But you see clearly the white helmet of cart number 40, Maxwell Waithman, in the lead on lap 6 of a 10-lap Micromax final. The top 3 looks as if they're linked together, don't they, like a train. It's not very far behind those front 3 that you get 4th and 5th, which is Dylan Tavella 4th, Tyler Gonzalez 5th. Then quite a little gap, and a bit detached then is Harry Coulton. Harry Coulton, who dramatically lost the US race. I think it was an illegal motor that was determined, and I think it was a UK motor. Maxwell Waithman then on lap 7. We're at the 3/4 race distance. 7.5 laps gone, 2.5 laps to go. We move into the 4th quarter of the Micromax final, coming back onto the extension of the home straight, sweeping right-handed, quickening up now to the fastest part of the circuit as we go through this little quick right-left chicane, slightly more exaggerated chicane, and then move on to this long straightaway, the longest straight I know of in international karting. And believe me folks, I do get around the world to do race calling in international karting, but I don't know of a straight as long as this one here at the NOLA Motorsports Centre. Onto the home straight, this for the 8th time. Setting off now. 7 laps completed. 8 laps remaining. I think I called the 4th quarter. I call that at 6.5 laps, not 7.5 laps. And Matthew Latifi moving back into second place. That's at the expense of Nicholas Dorlando. And the other beneficiary besides Matthew Latifi is Maxwell Waithman, who increases his lead. It was 0.07 of a second. I reckon on the naked eye now that's, well, it was about 0.3 of a second perhaps. It's not that now. My word, immediately Matthew Latifi closing up strongly. Now remember the basis on which he won the pre-final. We're coming down for the 8th time down this long straight, and Matthew Latifi goes in the lead, and Maxwell Waithman drops from 1st to 5th in one move. Coming down then, this is the start of lap 9. Oh, and it's anybody's race here. 28 in the lead is Nicholas Dorlando. Behind him, I think that's Tyler Gonzalez. Maxwell Waithman dropping back. Matthew Latifi, I think it is in 4th place. Matthew Latifi 4th. Dylan Tavella, I think, in 5th place. But I can say to you with certainty that Nicholas Dorlando in kart 28 moved into the lead. Those of you tuned in online may see the numbers a little easier than I do, but it's a front-running train of 4 with only a minor gap to the 5th and 6th drivers. But you feel that the champion is coming from this group, don't you? We know that Micromax produces amazingly close finishers down the long straightaway for the 9th time out of 10. 1.25 laps remaining. And again, Micromax racing at its best. There's 6 of them there, there's 7 of them there, any one of whom could gain the advantage. So the last lap board comes out, but your leader's going to lose the lead, I think, because 40 is Matthew Waithman, but yet going underneath him is 18 Matthew Latifi. Well, Matthew Latifi's strategy I anticipated being to be just hovering in something like 2nd place with 2 turns remaining. He's going to have to kick from home for the entirety of this 10th and final lap. 6 finals being staged this afternoon. These are the Micromax youngsters getting themselves with half a lap remaining. Matthew Latifi, Dylan Tavella in 2nd place, was that? Dylan Tavella moves into 2nd place and looks threatening. Dylan Tavella in the lighter coloured helmet. Oh, and Dylan Tavella also getting, I never realised that Patrick Woods-Toth was in the mix there, but he is. And it's going to be hard for Matthew Latifi to defend this. He's being swept like a tidal wave. And I have to tell you, I don't readily identify who the driver is coming home to win. Let me tell you with certainty, yes, it's cart number 39. And Dylan Tavella, who won the American Championship at Mooresville, North Carolina, back in August, has won this one. Maxwell Waithman in second place, and the impressive Patrick Woods-Toth in third. Matthew Latifi, in many ways unfortunate not to make the podium, but when that tidal wave swamped him on the approach to the final turn, it was really difficult to get forward from there. Nicholas Delando finishing 5th, Thomas Nepver 6th, Tyler Gonzalez 7th, Giovanni Bramonte 8th, Harry Coulton 9th, and Jordan Hefner completing the top 10. Hope you enjoyed that one. Dylan Tavella and his fans certainly did. He's the champion. Confirmation of Dylan Tavella's victory by a margin of 0.39 of a second over Maxwell Waithman. Patrick Woods-Toth crept up stealthily to become the best Canadian and make it to the podium in third place. Feel a little bit of sympathy for Matthew Latifi 4th and Nicholas Delando 5th. They look like potential winners, but they're both off the podium. Some good efforts between those drivers between 12th and 24th. Won't pick any one of those above the others. Eloy Lopez, the best of the Mexicans. And completing the grid, 33 of the 34 starters made the full 10-lap race distance. Only Diego Larocque, very unfortunate, cart number 34, failing to get past get to the 8th lap, went out before the start of the 8th lap.